Hi everyone, in today's lesson we're going to talk about the equation of a circle in center radius form. So you might remember this form from geometry. Let's just review it. So it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So this is the center radius form of a circle where the center is found by taking h comma k and our radius is found by taking the square root of r squared. So let's show you how it works. So example number one, let's just say I have the equation x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 25. So from this equation, you should be able to tell me what the center is and what the radius is. So I'll put C for center and R for radius. So the center can be found by negating the values that are inside these parentheses. Notice up here, it's a negative h in the formula, but when I find the center, it's positive h. Negative k, then positive k. So all that means to do is we're switching the signs. So if this is a positive 2, when we put it into the center, it's going to be a negative 2. And then over here, my value in the equation is negative 4, so my value for the center will be positive 4. And then my radius will be found by taking the square root of whatever is on the outside. So the square root of 25 is in fact 5. Okay, let's try another example. So example number 2. What if I have x squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 81? So you'll notice that I only have y minus a number and then just a regular old x squared. So that might be a little confusing, but it's actually not as bad as you think it is. So we know that the radius will be the square root of this 81. So I can say the square root of 81 is in fact 9, so that's my radius. But my center now is, what's this? Well, I think we could write this as x minus 0 squared. And if we do that, we can clearly see that our center value for the x is going to be 0. And then the y value will just be the negation of this negative 3, which makes positive 3. So I have a center and I have a radius. Now, I could ask you to graph these two things, and that shouldn't be too terrible. We would draw a nice little xy axis, and we'd put our center point at negative 2, positive 4, and we'll label that as our center. And in order to finish the equation of the circle, we're going to have to go right 5, left 5, down 5, and up 5. So let's just count. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd go here. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. And then 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll do the best that we can to draw a complete circle. Hopefully yours is better than mine, but that's the idea of this circle, where the center to one of the endpoints is called the radius, and that distance is 5. And if you'd like, you could graph number 2 for extra practice. Okay, sometimes the circle equation will be given to you in expanded form, and they will ask you to find the center radius form. So let's just show you what I mean when I say expanded form. So the example that I'm talking about here is x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y plus 25 equals 81. So basically, this is an equation of a circle. They just expanded everything out. They double distributed and they got this form. And now our goal is going to be to get that center radius form. And we need to complete the square to do so. So the first thing that we have to do is group the x's. So we're going to take these x values and put them next to each other. So x squared minus 8x. Then we're going to take the y values and group those. Y squared plus 6y. And we're going to get this equal to a constant. So we need to subtract the 25 on both sides. So we'll have equals whatever 81 minus 25 is, and that gives you 56. So step number 1, if you want to write the steps, would be group the x's, group the y's, and set equal to the number. So get all of the numbers to one side. Then we're going to complete the square. So completing the square shouldn't be new to you. We are going to take half of b and square it. That is how we complete the square. But now we're going to have to do it twice because we have x's and we have y's. So watch what happens. We have x squared minus 8x, and we need to have a c value. Then we are going to take the y squared plus 6y, and we need a c value. And we still have this 56 on the right side. And if I'm adding a red value or a x value to one side, I have to add it to the other. Same as if I have a y value to one side, I have to add to the other. So how we find these values here is by taking half of b and squaring it. So remember, the b value is the value in front of the x. So negative 8 divided by 2 squared gives us negative 4 squared, which gives us positive 16. So that is what we add to both sides of the equation. Then we do the same thing with the b value, but with the y's. So my b value is the 6y, the number in front of the y. So 6 divided by 2 squared. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 squared gives us 9. So the 9 is what we have to add to both sides of the equation. So then we're almost done. We're in center radius form now. We need to just factor this out with the x's and factor this out with the y's. So if you remember, the half value will give us what the factors are. So since this is negative 4, we know that the factors of this perfect square trinomial are going to be x minus 4 squared. Then we're going to do the same thing, but with the green y's. So we need to write it as something squared. And we know it's the same as the half value. So since the half is 3, it's y plus 3 squared. And then all we need to do to get the right side is just add up all of those values. 56 plus 16 plus 9. And if you add them all up, you should get 81. Now, you should notice what you successfully created. This is your equation of a circle in center radius form. Now, from this, we can find our center, which is the opposite of these values. So the opposite of negative 4 and the opposite of positive 3. So the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4, and the opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. And our radius now is the square root of the stuff here, which is 81. So the square root of 81 is 9. All right, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, make sure you're jotting them down to ask us in class tomorrow. All right, have a good night.